It was pretty early in the morning when we rolled into Port Huron, and I was just about to ask if anybody wanted a cup of coffee when I heard somebody in the crew in the back say, "Wow, this is a pretty cool place." Well, I happen to agree. I've always liked Port Huron for the way it feels. It's a great mix of old and new, and it's just the right size, and it's on the water, and I love the water. Good thing I'm in Michigan. The city of Port Huron is the maritime capital of the Great Lakes and stretches 7 miles along the shore of the St. Clair River at the base of the second largest of the Great Lakes, Lake Huron. The boardwalk here goes on forever, and it provides excellent views of the St. Clair River, passing freighter traffic, and one of my favorite bridges in the whole world, the Blue Water Bridge, the majestic gateway to Canada. Besides the beautiful waterfront scenery and all the boating activities, Port Huron has even more to do when you're off the water. The historic downtown shopping district has tons of interesting and funky shops and some very cool restaurants. I met up with one of Port Huron's biggest supporters, Marcy Fogel, for a quick walk through town.
The downtown area is really impressive. What kind of businesses are moving back downtown in Port Huron?
We're finding more of the boutiques coming back down to the downtown area, which is really exciting because there's just such a variety here right now.
Restaurants?
Great restaurants, very, again, unique restaurants, which really adds a lot of fun to the area.
If you're looking for a place to kick back and have a great meal with good friends, try the Vintage Tavern. If you're looking for a more casual dining experience, I highly recommend Powers Diner. They've been doing diner right for more than 70 years, and they ain't done yet. If you've got a sweet tooth, this place is a trip, and yes, your eyes do deceive you. This is not a real gas station. It's an actual award-winning bakery called the Great Bake Station. You'll definitely want to fill up on your baked goods here. They are outstanding. Port Huron has beautiful historic homes and neighborhoods that are literally a stone's throw from the water. There are also a lot of buildings here that really remind you of the city's rich history. Like a lot of cities with a progressive vision, Port Huron is coming alive with loft living and brand new condos downtown. And with the help from the St. Clair County Community Action Agency, space is being reclaimed to give people a chance to live in brand new neighborhoods right in town. Sherry Archibald shared the plan with me.
I've noticed since we got to town that there's a lot of new development and a lot of new housing development going up in Port Huron. Tell me about this development.
Well, this development was the culmination of a larger project. It was a 3-year project called the Community Renaissance Project. What we did was target the worst 2-block area. We bought up all of the homes, tore them all down, redeveloped the site, replatted the site, and built 14 single-family condominiums. It's developments like Oakcrest Condominium that is getting people to move back into the city. And so it really does lend for a much more vibrant community if you can bring the homeowners right into town.
There's also a thriving art community in Port Huron. Next time you're here for a stay, you've got to check out Studio 1219. I've never seen anything like this place. They took a furniture store built in 1882 and turned it into a really cool art co-op. Over 100 artists display their art here, and the art is always changing. This place is definitely worth finding out more about. But for those of you a little more adventurous, grab 19 of your closest friends and spend the night on a real U.S. Coast Guard cutter. The Coast Guard Cutter Bramble is part of the Port Huron Museum program. It was commissioned in 1944 and has sailed the world, from San Francisco to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and eventually all the way up to Port Huron. The ship is retired now and is permanently docked here at the museum, but for groups of 20 or more, it's a great overnight maritime adventure. Our captain for the day and night is retired ship's cook Mike Popelka. Mike served 4.5 years on the Bramble and knows all there is to know about her.
Well, the Bramble was built in 1944 by the Zenith Dredge Company in Duluth, Minnesota. Upon completion, she left the Great Lakes, went to San Pedro, California. In her active duty lifetime, she was stationed twice in California. She was up in Juneau, Alaska, the Hawaiian Islands, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Miami.
Whoa.
Spent about 5.5 years in Detroit and been in Port Huron over 35 years.
Now, what was this ship used for primarily back in like the 50s and 60s?
She's primarily a buoy tender. She has a reinforced hull on the buoy deck here. All the buoys in the Great Lakes have to be brought in every fall and then they're put back out in the spring. If you fail to do that, the ice on the buoys builds up, weights them over. The ice flows across and destroys the buoys.
Now, is that one of the ones you used to put out?
Yep, that's a 620. It's 6 foot across, 20 foot long, weighs 6,500 pounds.
So when people come to spend the night on the Bramble, what's the normal routine for the day?
Well, we welcome them aboard the Bramble. We do a a tour of the outside areas. And after they've done a tour of the buoy deck, it'll give them a little understanding of what goes on the boat. Then I show them where they're going to sleep. Then we give them free time where they can roam around inside the ship, go up on the bridge and look it over, that type stuff.
Very, very, very cool.
I took advantage of some free time to roam around the ship, and I'm telling you, this thing is huge. The decks seem to go on forever, and you can spend hours exploring and still find new stuff. I don't think I've ever seen this many gauges, switches, and knobs in my whole life. And if you don't pay attention, you'll end up right back where you started.
I gotta tell you, Mike, I think the most fascinating part about a ship, at least for me, is the engine room. You've got some huge engines here. What are these?
These are EMDs, Electromotive Division of General Motors. We have two, each one 750 horsepower. These engines are actually turning DC generators. And the generators in turn go back and feed a 1200 horsepower Westinghouse electric motor, and that's what turns our shaft. We're single shaft, twin engine.
Wow, they're huge.
After seeing the engine room, it was time for bunk assignments.
This is the berthing area you guys will be using. This was the old engineer's berthing. Pick out a rack, put your pillow and your sleeping bag on it, and then it'll be yours for the night.
Well, this is all real nice, Captain Mike, but you kind of promised me that I could stay in the captain's quarters?
Yeah, I'll let you do that. Let's go on up there, I'll show it to you.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. Ah, the sea gently rocking me to sleep. Hey, Mike, can I have a glass of water?
Go to bed.
Oh, all right. Want to get the light for me? I'll just bramble off to sleep.
In the morning, I found Captain Mike on the bridge, and I asked him if I could do something I've always wanted to do.
Can I blow the horn?
Yeah, I guess we can make the exception. Go
Seriously?
right ahead.
Okay.
It's that lanyard right back there.
Seriously?
Right there, yep.
All right.
Pulls a little hard.
Now, what am I doing?
A long and too short. That's a Great Lakes salute, a master's salute. You get to be the master of this
One
boat
long,
for
two
one
short
horn.
is the Great Lakes salute.
Do it.
Got it.
I had a blast on the Bramble, and I'm pretty sure all my new friends did too. I can only imagine the next Daldin family reunion on board. That'd be one to remember. So if you're going to Port Huron, get aboard the Bramble. I guarantee you'll have a great maritime.
Next time you're on the internet, go to utrmichigan.com. You'll find links and information on all the great people, places, and things that we discover right here in Michigan. Or if you're a social networking kind of person like me and you'd like to be a part of the program, go to our Facebook page at Under the Radar Michigan. There you can suggest people, places, and things you'd like to see us feature on the program. We'd love to hear from you. Go to utrmichigan.com today. You'll be glad you did.
Under the Radar Michigan is brought to you in part by the Michigan State Housing Development Authority, investing in people, places, and partnerships to help transform Michigan and the Michigan economy. In cities, towns, and neighborhoods, people are building better places to live and better communities. Also in part by the Food Bank Council of Michigan, Michigan's statewide food bank network committed to the alleviation of hunger in Michigan and in our nation. The Food Bank Council of Michigan gathers food and funds to help stock Michigan's food banks. And by Moose Jaw, a Michigan retailer whose stores and employees serve the outdoor enthusiast with clothing and gear. Information on locations and gear at moosejaw.com. Closed captioning for Under the Radar Michigan is made possible by Shamrock Travel in downtown Rochester. Shamrock Travel providing complete travel services right here in Michigan for over 20 years.